Welcome to the Boston Barrister, Kevin Patrick Seaver, bringing you insights about your family and the world.
Welcome to the Boston Barrister. My name is Kevin Patrick Seaver. I'm a lawyer from Boston, Massachusetts, of course. I'm here today with an assistant attorney in my office. Paul, say hello to everybody. This is Attorney Paola Rossetti.
Hi, Paola Rossetti here.
Today we're going to talk about in this episode fault divorce, which I frown upon and so do the judges. Really difficult to prove. And really, in the end, you want to just become unhooked, unhinged, divorced. So the bad conduct behavior of the other spouse, I think it's just dirty. But we're going to go into it today. We're going to tell some stories, too, about some we've had that have been very different. The first one is adultery. What does that mean? Paul, you want to take it?
It's having intercourse with another person who's not your spouse.
Ouch. So in a case I had, a gentleman came in, very wealthy, owned his own business. He traveled a lot because of the business. And he said he had a gut feeling something was just amiss. I said, why? He says, well, because my wife was very cold towards me when I come home from my business trips. And so their relationship had really deteriorated. There was no intimacy. So I asked him, what do you want to do? He says, Kevin, I know she's cheating on me. He said, all right, well, what do you want to do? He says, Kevin, I really need to know. It's just eating me up. So we found out that she was having intercourse with multiple men. And the evidence that we got was beyond a doubt. And when he saw this, he started, just broke down, sobbing, crying. And I said, what's the problem? He said, well, you don't know these people. I said, of course I don't know these people. He says, Kevin, this one person here is my best man at my wedding. And the other person, he was an usher at my wedding. And I'm like, oh boy. So what do you want to do? He says, I want out. My marriage is destroyed. And I got to understand how he felt. I felt terrible for him. So we reached out to the mother and just said to her, this marriage is over. Let us go our own ways. And within a very short period of time, mom's attorney calls and says, Kevin, how do we settle this? Because nobody wins from this if you go and give these pictures and everything to the two men's wives. Because the guys that were having sex with the wife, they too were married. So there was a lot of nonsense going on. And so in the end, my client got what he wanted. He just wanted out. He wanted to go live his own life. And the last time I heard from him, he was very happy and thrilled to be divorced. And by the way, he found happiness. He got remarried. Good for him. Now, I say that this isn't usually how it turns out, though. When the courts frown their nose at you trying to show that one spouse has done something that they shouldn't be doing. The second is where it's abusive, cruelty, and where someone is hurting another person physically, mentally, emotionally, so forth and so on. And that can be difficult to prove, although sometimes not. Because when you've got a woman that comes into your office with bruises all over her body and other parts of her exterior, that's not too hard to prove. And you go get restraining orders, this, that, and everything else. But in the end, that person just wanted to get divorced. And so did the other party who was being abusive. So you can plead it with fault. I highly recommend you not do that. You're going to kind of like know the tone of this talk today. Paula, what do you want to add to the abusive and the cruelty?
Well, sometimes the other challenge is the abuser does not want to get divorced. And that would be a whole nother hurdle to cross over. But it's always good to get documentation.
Such as pictures and evidence of the abuse. Now, remember, I have people sometimes tape record the other person. Massachusetts is a two-party state. You must get consent from the other side to record them. That's a violation of federal wiretapping statute. That's a no-no. Don't do it. Not in Massachusetts. Paul, in Massachusetts, do you need to have both parties consent to get a divorce? Or can one person get a divorce without the permission of another person, such as the abusive case where the abuser doesn't want to get divorced?
No, you don't need both people. One person can file for divorce in Massachusetts.
What is desertion?
It's when one spouse has left the home and basically the life from the other spouse for at least 1 year without any significant contact or agreement, of course, to do that.
What is non-support?
That's when one spouse has the ability to provide for the other spouse and or the family, but fails to do so or refuses to do it.
The next factor, what is gross intoxication?
Well, it's a lot like what it sounds, where the other one spouse has been using substances for a while and excessively.
So in other words, somebody that's grossly intoxicated would be either drugs or alcohol or prescription medication, and it'd be a problem. And so that's one of the other ills that you could file on a fault divorce. How long do you have to be incarcerated for the other spouse to file under fault?
Has to be 5 or more years.
What is, in fault divorce, impotent?
It's the inability to have intercourse.
Ouch. So these are the grounds that if you want to file for a fault divorce in the probate and family court in Massachusetts, you can, but Attorney Seaver highly discourages doing such. Unless it's pretty clear cut, somebody's in jail for 5 years and you want to move on with your life, for whatever reason. I would understand that. But some of the other ones, not so much. I think they're frowned upon, and you can file a contested or uncontested divorce and get that done quick and fast and not go through great litigation. Because litigation, again, costs money, a lot of anxiety, and it's going to hurt the kids.